Start with the image of a young boy sitting on a neighbor's goose eggs, trying to hatch them. This wasn't a normal kid. At age 7, his teacher called him addled. He lasted only 3 months in formal school. His mother, Nancy, took him out and homeschooled him, instilling a voracious reading habit. By age 12, he's not just a student, he's an entrepreneur. He's selling newspapers on the Grand Trunk Railroad and, this is the key, he convinces them to let him set up a chemical lab and a printing press inside a train car. He's the first person to ever publish a newspaper on a moving train. At 15, he saves a station master's child from a moving train. The reward? He's taught telegraphy. Edison's hearing was failing, but he didn't see it as a disability. In a noisy telegraph office, he could only hear the clicks of his machine. It gave him a superpower of focus. His first patent was an electric vote recorder for Congress. It worked perfectly. Congress hated it because they wanted the delay of a manual roll call to lobby for votes. Edison's takeaway: I will never again invent something that people don't want to buy. Most people think Edison's greatest invention was the light bulb. It wasn't. In 1877, he creates a machine that can record and play back sound. People are so shocked they think it's ventriloquism. This is where he becomes a global celebrity. To make sure that you can see Thomas Edison in not only inventor of light bulb, I would like to tell you this story. This is a story about how a man who was nearly deaf changed how the world hears forever. Here is the fascinating story of the phonograph and its journey to becoming the grandfather of the podcast, which you are listening to right now. Try to imagine this. It's 1870. If you wanted to hear a beautiful song or a great story, you had to be there right at that moment. Once the speaker finished their sentence, the sound vanished into thin air like smoke. No replay button, no Spotify. That was the reality. Until a man who was nearly deaf changed everything. Thomas Edison looked at a telegraph machine and had a crazy thought. If we can record dots and dashes, why not the human voice? He wrapped a thin sheet of tinfoil around a cylinder, turned a hand crank, and shouted into it, "Mary had a little lamb!" When he played it back, a raspy metallic voice shouted back at him. For the first time in history, sound had been captured. But here's the cool part. Edison wasn't just building a toy. He actually wrote a list of everything this machine could eventually do. And guess what? It's exactly what we're doing right now. Recording lectures, telling stories for the blind, and preserving the voices of loved ones. Edison was essentially the first podcaster. He was just 150 years ahead of his time. Why is the phonograph the great-grandfather of the podcast? Because it broke the time barrier. Podcasting is audio on demand, and the phonograph was the very first device that let humans listen to what they wanted, whenever they wanted. That intimate connection you feel listening to my voice right now? That's the same magic Edison discovered in his lab at Menlo Park. Thomas Edison's story is defined by a striking image. A nearly deaf man biting into the wooden frame of his phonograph just to feel the vibrations of sound through his own bones. This is the essence of a great American hero, a man who used relentless grit to turn a world of silence into one of music and light. Every time you hit play on a podcast today, you are experiencing the dream of a hero who literally fought through his own physical barriers to build the future of sound for us all.